So hello and welcome back to our coverage for the GGP here in Osnabrück. We are now entering round 3 and we have two very interesting competitors. We just covered table 1. Can you tell us something about our contestants?
You are lying as you're always doing. I wanted to have JustRawkin in the feature match because he is a known online player. He was a force to be reckoned with in the last War League season for Team Bones. And he's packing a deck you were asking for on stream. He's packing Control. He's playing Chaos Control. I don't know what Bohne is playing. I don't know the player also. But that's the beauty of a huge event like this. You have well-known players against not as known players. And yeah, I need to do something real quick.
We love to do something real quick without announcing what we have to do real quick. But he is quick indeed. I just saw him jumping from the stage and now he's jumping back up. So yeah, we are seeing a T-set on the side of... I haven't handed the note with the names for our contestants.
On the left is Bohne, and on the right is JustRawkin.
Bohne on the right, on the left with T-set, and JustRawkin starts his turn by discarding a Thunder Dragon. We have seen that plenty of times today already, and discarding Thunder Dragon is always a start you want to have.
And I want to say something to chat. Of course, we were waiting for the US people to wake up. It's like we would have been ready like an hour ago, but we know the US people... Nah, just kidding.
Yeah, as you know, big people, big tournament means many people, and there are always problems that are going hand in hand with that. So yeah.
Okay, and we do have a mirror match on hand, it seems like. We at least see some scapegoats for Bohne. We don't know yet if Bohne is also packing a Chaos Engine in his control build, but this will be a grindy game for sure, and I can't wait to witness it.
Yeah. The beauty of control mirrors is that you can see the individual skill of players very good.
Yeah.
So if you are a good player and you are playing a control mirror, there is very little luck involved. It's a skill match.
I mean, luck is always a factor, but also control mirrors are like the thing that most of us got started with Gold Format. We all remember the times where we just played the two same lists together. Against each other, pardon me. So it's like Goat format in its rawest form, and we love to see that. Also, both players undefeated, so they did quite well at that tournament thus far, and I can't wait to see what they do in this round. We see that Tsukuyomi being shuffled back by JustRawkin, which is a very, very strong card in the mirror match, especially if you're already holding on to some flips. Speaking of flips, that was
there was a spy that got banished by the nobleman. Yeah, they waited a little bit, so they ruined the punchline. But yeah, the spy was discarded there. No more investigation needed.
Yeah, and we do see that JustRawkin is losing another spy. And we do also see that Bohne is not losing any spies. So he is playing a control without spies in his main deck. This could be because he's on more of a traditional goat list. Hard to say this early in the match, but it's definitely something to factor in here for JustRawkin.
Definitely. And another flip monster or another set card, and opting to not flip your monster. So what possible cards could there be that you don't want to flip? Like a Magician of Faith that you set without spells engrave?
I mean, it was probably like a Serpent or a Sangan, something like a bait, because we saw the Magician in hand, which is now flipped. So you want to bait out a Nobleman or even potential main deck Mind Control first. Yeah, it was indeed a bait. It was indeed a volley, so it seems to be like more of a traditional control build. And now we do see some attacks, and we do see some attacks connecting.
Yeah, and there, okay, the judge was to hand to unlock the tablet for the life point tracking, and we connect with the DD Warrior Lady and the Magician of Faith, and now we have a mighty attack force of 1800.
Mm-hmm.
And another back row.
Yeah.
Not playing into a +1 storm.
I'm sorry, I'm a bit puzzled right now because I tried to figure out something, but I think this has to wait for after the match. JustRawkin is now drawing into his cards, and I believe you have to solo commentary this for a while because I have to figure something out.
Okay, solo commentary for the control round, for the control mirror. So DD Warrior Lady gets hit with the Snatch Steal, and now we have to think about the response, because banishing the Magician of Faith with the DD Warrior Lady would get rid of 2 light targets in the graveyard, and just punching for damage and keeping the DD Warrior Lady is also a good thing, but we get the Raigeki break out, so trading Snatch Steal for Raigeki break, and now we are deciding to ditch our scapegoats.
Oh wow!
I mean, it's another spell card engrave for a potential flip of the Magician of Faith. So if you get hold of like a Book of Moon or a top deck Tsukuyomi, the Magician of Faith has another spell card live in the graveyard. And JustRawkin now has to figure something out, because it seems like the Snatch Steal was his attempt of a play, and he looks not that happy. Of course, our screen is a little bit bigger, so we can see the reaction on the faces as casters, but the reaction faces are not in the screen you see, so yeah, we get a little bit of face reading.
Okay, we do see JustRawkin taking some damage here, and while controllers are really grindy, you can be in these scenarios where you kind of brick, and we see Bot of Greed the best way to go or come out of a brick, but where you brick and where you kind of forced to take some damage early, and this could be a deciding factor later. But if JustRawkin picked something up here, I think there is a pretty high chance that he will mount some form of defense here. He does try in form of a set, spell, or trap card, and passing right back to Bohne.
Yeah, and we already established that playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Without monsters is not that fun. Like, you need the monsters to play the game, and not drawing into summonable monsters is quite a harsh reality.
It's definitely a reality you don't want to be in, especially at a Gold Compre where Worlds Invites are handed out and where are you undefeated on a stream match. And we do see that Bohne isn't there without a reason. He does play around, does shoot pretty smartly, sets the back row, and pots after that to only draw into 3 cards and not 4.
And we upstart Goblin for another card, so we are trying to dig for a card to put even more pressure onto JustRawkin.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, he elevates a bit of pressure because he gives JustRawkin some LP, which are definitely not unwelcome here. And now Magician gets turned to defense. And do we see finally scapegoats by JustRawkin, or will we just sit there and soak in some damage? Nope, there are the goats. JustRawkin was like, nope, that's enough. And what do you think about that decision?
Yeah, I think waiting for your opponent to activate Upstart so that you get more life points behind your goats is a very smart move to do here.
I don't think that was the factor here, really. Maybe JustRawkin picked up a Metamorphosis with that Pot of Greed and decided to wait on activating goats before he can do something with it, which does make some sense. And now we had this earlier in our 1-1 feature match. Bohne is left with the decision whether he wants to attack a token or just leave 4 tokens on the field to clock the board. We do see Typhoon in the end phase hitting a Nobleman, which was set. This was a Nobleman, Magician added back, so it was a known card.
Yeah, and it was also the card that was set to play around Dust Shot. So, yeah, you could have opted to go for one of the unknown cards to like play around, like a potential trap that could check your 1000 Ice Restrict.
I mean, it's a smart play to shoot the new one here because it can't be chained, and also like it has to be a valuable card when Bohne doesn't want to reveal it. And we indeed see Metamorphosis being activated by JustRawkin, soaking in that DD Warrior Lady, taking out Magician of Faith in the process, and passes right back to Bohne. And now we really have a slow match on hand. This is what we are used to see if we know we have a goat control mirror on our hands.
Yes, 1000 Ice Restrict is definitely the card of the format next to the goats. And it is like one of the most iconic boss monsters, and it gets pretty easily answered by the Tribe Infecting Virus.
Yeah, that's
but
like
discarding cards in hand in such spot also might not be that fun.
And we see a Demog being discarded. This definitely confirms that Bohne is on a traditional goat control because you like to play Demog in those builds. This also pretty much confirms that he will be main decking Premature Burial and Call of the Haunted, which Chaos Control oftly cuts because of space reasons, because you have to fit your Thunderings and your Spies in there. And there is a Call of the Haunted being activated, targeting something, but it will not be granted access to the field because Raigeki Break says, no, that's one of the cards that Chaos Control can play and God Control can't.
Yeah, so both the aggressive Snatch Steal from JustRawkin and the resource advantage gaining Call of the Haunted both got met with a Raigeki Break this game.
Call of the Haunted obviously targeting that Demog in the grave there. We couldn't quite see it, but yeah, we have to assume. So now Bohne is left with the question, does he want to take out the goats? Does he want to take one goat, all goats, or no goat? And that's a difficult question. What do you think?
I think at the moment the goats can't harm you, and the potential cards in hand could be good. And if you're down to 4 cards, sometimes just attacking and keeping your monster on field and the cards in hand is the better decision.
I do also think attacking one goat here is a sound decision. Like leaving all 3 on field doesn't do much here for you because there would still be a lot of space. And there's a second Metamorphosis by JustRawkin. Does Bohne find an out against it? I doubt it because that face down is sitting there for a while doing nothing. And indeed, Thousand Eyes is hitting the board and hitting the soak button second time.
So
this game.
Captain Hindsight just called, you should have definitely get rid of all the goats. Because, it was definitely the correct play to discard a card of your hand and get rid of all the goats.
That's obviously in hindsight. It was a bit more unlikely for JustRawkin to have the second Metamorphosis there because he already burned through one. Also, we don't know if JustRawkin is even playing 2. Even playing 3, maybe he's only on 2, so there was his only copy left. So yeah, Captain Hindsight is always very, very smart, but we can't ask him before the hindsight happens.
And we have the Tsukuyomi that immediately checks the Thousand Eyes Restrict again, and we get rid of it.
Yeah, we try to get rid of it. JustRawkin might have something against that. Still has a back row, but he decides to let it go through. Tsukuyomi was redrawn after JustRawkin shuffled it back with Shoot, so that's good news for Bohne.
Yeah, definitely. And the control deck don't like the opposing Tsukuyomi. It really likes the own Tsukuyomi because it's a very valuable card for resetting your Thousand Eyes and resetting your Magician of Faith, but it checks really all the boxes to counter a control deck as well. It's a very good card in the mirror match. We
do see Jar of Greed being flipped by JustRawkin, which gives us much more information about this deck. It is like a Chaos Control version, which is almost like a turbo with some goats and metas slapped in, so it's probably close to the guy's D-build, and yeah, that's good news for JustRawkin.
Yeah, and drawing cards is always good in Yu-Gi-Oh! And but what card do we want to draw? I
mean, JustRawkin, that's the card you want to draw, definitely here.
Breaker is definitely...
The back row, it could be Scapegoats here because it's sitting there for a while doing nothing. And it was actually, it was Scapegoats. It looked like something else for a second. JustRawkin is now very, very far ahead. Bohne only on 1 card in hand, and that's exactly where you want to be in a control mode. Slowly grind out the resources of your opponent, and this is what JustRawkin is doing. So it's not a question of what do you want to draw. It's like you like to draw, replenish your resources, and I think JustRawkin is good here either way.
Yeah, we have 3 cards in hand on Onus.
Oh, duo. And 3 cards, not 1. I was mistaken, but no, it's 1. I was seeing the future.
Yeah,
I was looking to the future.
Captain Future.
Captain Future and Captain Hindsight, brothers. Oh, hitting the Metamorphosis. Strong hit.
That's a tough loss.
And the second copy of goats, but it was discarded really quickly. So Bohne really seems to like his last card in hand. Maybe it is a Blackluster Soldier. He has Light Dark available to him.
Yes.
Blackluster
Soldier would be devastating at this point.
Tries to top deck into something good here. Question is, can he find it? Only 2 cards in hand. JustRawkin with a big advantage. Oh, I see one card in his hand, and this would turn the tables literally.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't avoid the Cyclops Eye there. It's a haunting image, and maybe that's a good card. But there's so much advantage on the side of JustRawkin. So. Can he play around it?
Yeah, no, the question is, will he play around it? I mean, we are used to see Morphing Jar main decked in Pandaburn, for example, or in some OTK decks, but we don't see it often in Gold Control, so I wouldn't be surprised if it would catch JustRawkin off guard completely. That may make the difference here, but let's see how he elects to play it. Maybe he can play around it. He's contemplating his hand, and would you see that Morphing Jar coming in that scenario?
I don't think so. I mean, it's an earth monster, right? It doesn't make your graveyard more valuable, and the only thing it really does is take you out of a tough position, and you are in a tough position now.
Yeah.
It's the King of Games strategy there, always drawing the card you really need and using it to the maximum efficiency.
Oh, and there is an out against it. Blackluster Soldier.
Do we banish here? Or do we attack?
He does banish it, and he avoids disaster by hitting that Morphing Jar. JustRawkin has to sigh a breath. He is just to be relieved. I can't speak anymore. I'm so exhausted.
Yeah, and now we are back on one card in hand. One top deck and a dream.
Yeah.
Against Blackluster Soldier, a Breaker.
I mean, JustRawkin is dead to Snatch, right?
Yes.
He is dead to Snatch.
And he's dead to Blackluster Soldier.
That also. So 2 cards which would end the game immediately here. JustRawkin is forced to pass without setting a back row. So, but you know you're pretty safe here now, because if your opponent had one of these cards, they would be slammed at the table immediately. And we do see Exiled Force attacking over token, and then I assume
over the Breaker, over the Magician, and over the set.
It's Azura. It's an Azura priest.
Yeah,
Azura
priest.
I didn't recognize it at first. So he attacks over everything he can, and now he's thinking about attacking into the set monster. He does eventually, and it's Dikwichi. Netting JustRawkin another draw. And now, 3k damage on board, 6-4 damage left to be dealt. Can we find the game shot here?
Yeah, I mean, now after the Azura push, Blackluster Soldier isn't game anymore.
There's a second Chaos.
But a second Chaos and a normal summon would be a devastating game push.
This could be the end of it. We see the Chaos Hawk. That's 5-3 damage. And there's a tribe, and that's enough. Do we have the Kuribo to prevent it? The main deck Kuribo to save your game and tournament? No, we don't see that, obviously. So we're going into game 2 with JustRawkin. This was a very convincing victory. He was down in resources early and then showed up a masterclass in navigating the control mirror.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he just didn't saw his power cards in the beginning of the game, and he patiently waited out. He had the foresight to keep his goats for 2 turns and just use it at the moment where he drew into the metamorphosis, and he could snatch a good target with it.
Yeah.
He baited out the Raigeki break with the Snatch Steal earlier.
Yeah.
So there wasn't much of a response, and it was really just a very high display of skill there to lure out all the back row and then slowly but surely take all the cards from your opponent away. Yeah,
definitely. And also, we talked about if it was the right play to target the newly set card, and it ended up making all the difference because it allowed JustRawkin to get rid of that nobleman, which would have stopped his magician, which got him the pot. And this was like the second pot, I think, was the turning point in the match, because after that advantage definitely snowballed. JustRawkin was able to find Delinquent Duo and like everything he needed to close it out. And this was a perfect combination of the luck you need to draw the cards you need, and also the skill to execute it to perfection.
Yeah, I also want to highlight the second Metamorphosis.
Yeah, definitely.
The second Metamorphosis was such a huge impact card in this situation, because getting rid of the first one and not getting rid of the tokens was really a huge push. And my partner in crime here is like always away. What's going on there?
I'm doing my cardio today. Like I get my steps in for sure. A lot is happening here. You see at the left corner of your screen. You see the glimpse of how packed this room is, and it's so like I was talking earlier about the excitement, which is like which you can sense, like taste and smell in the room. It's like everyone is hyped and excited, and just happy to play, and also eager to prove themselves and and win an invite, or even like winning the whole tournament.
Yeah, and we got 4 invites today.
Yes, 4 invites.
And we are playing 8 rounds of Swiss. We're now in round 3.
Yeah.
And we are playing 8 rounds, so we have a lot more Yu-Gi-Oh! Today. And we also have top 16 after that. So
yes. We have a total of 12 rounds being played today. So much Yu-Gi-Oh! Still have to be played. And we do see Delinquent Duo. It's a great start for Bohne here. Hitting Trap Dust Shoot. It's an interesting card to keep against Goat Control. I think I would have botted it out, but I'm sitting here commentating and yapping, and JustRawkin is here crushing, so he definitely knows what he's doing. And also discards the Chaos Rock, which gives him a Dark in the graveyard, and possibly gets rid of a card which was dead in hand anyway.
Yeah, and now we are seeing like 2 back row and a set monster. And now you have to think, do we just attack into the potential Magician of Faith?
Yeah, it could also be a Morphing Jar again. I mean, no, JustRawkin definitely knows that it's there. But do you even have the possibility? Like, Control isn't the most aggressive decks in the early turns. It needs some time to get going, especially with few resources. And we do see JustRawkin just matching the play of Bohne.
Yeah, and now you really have to think, like, you can't make a mistake here because losing advantage in the early turns makes you depending on your power cards even more.
Yeah. I mean, JustRawkin is now really like basically trying to do the same thing he did game 1, surviving as long as he can, taking as little damage in card advantage and life points he can to, kind of crawl back out of it. And we do see DD Warrior Lady being something again. What do you think about DD Warrior Lady in Goat format?
Yeah, DD Warrior Lady in this specific matchup is really nice because it really has to be answered.
Yeah.
And if there's a set light monster...
Oh, we do see a Spirit Reaper. That's a card which can be outed by DD Warrior Lady.
Yeah, DD Warrior Lady now... would be a potential light engrave, but also is an immediate out to the Spirit Reaper. Spirit Reaper is always a card that is there and is annoying, and it really checks the Azura Priest we saw last game, or it has to get banished by a Chaos monster. And DD Warrior Lady on attack deck immediately outs it.
Yeah.
If you opt to do it.
Yeah, that's the question here, and Bohne is really pondering. I assume that DD Warrior Lady is his only way of aggression here, and he potentially doesn't want to lose that aggression this early in this game. And the question is, like, I believe it is reasonable to banish here just because JustRawkin is on so low resources, but he decides to keep it, which I also understand.
Yeah, definitely. DD Warrior Lady now is also a magnet for potential cards like the Raigeki Break or stuff like that that you get from your opponent before you invest in your expensive Chaos monsters.
Yeah. JustRawkin now, only thing you can do is make another passive play, just hits the Sparrow Trap. But maybe Bohne now can do the same thing JustRawkin did in game 1 and access his resources, draw into the cards he needs at the same time. That set monster is also quite curious. What could it be? It's probably another bait. Maybe it is a Sangan, which seems very likely. Or even Tsukuyomi, which is set to bait a mind control. And we do see DD Warrior switch into defense, and now again we have the grindy state we are to expect while watching a Gold control mirror match.
Yes, and we got the Jar of Greed in the end phase.
Yes, in the end phase, which is potentially to play around Royal Decree, which God Control can play, but other than that, you should never use Jar in the end phase because you could draw into 2 Thunder Dragons, and you also make your plays worse against Trap Dust Shoot, But I think JustRawkin had an idea here why he did it, potentially with Decree in mind.
Yeah. Decree also a card that counters the trap lineup of a control deck very good.
Yeah, of a Chaos control deck. Because a Gold control deck, it doesn't have that high of a trap land, and Chaos control is running Regeki Break and shoots and stuff, which Gold control might not play.
We already saw the shoots and the Regeki Breaks in game 1. So
exactly, and also in game 2. Okay.
Yeah, now the Spirit Reaper still is the elephant in the room here, or the zombie in the room.
The zombie elephant in a room who's just sitting there and, giving JustRawkin time again. But I don't know who wants to have time more. And we do also see Jar of Grid being played by Bohne. We also saw Upstart Goblins in game 1, so it's like taking some inspiration from Chaos Turbo, wanting to play as less real cards as possible to draw into your good ones, which is kind of standard. And there, it was a Magician who was sitting there for a while. He was waiting for JustRawkin to draw into 2 cards. So very patient, and this patience paid off. What can he hit here?
I mean, losing another Chaos Monster here would be tough.
Oh, okay.
But we just lose out Tsukiyomi, which is also a tough hit. Losing Sangan is whatever. Now we have our Dark Monsters in grave, 3 of them.
Yeah.
We are still missing the light.
Yeah. And sorry. I got distracted by chat here. I can see the glimpse of my eye. I'm seeing you guys. I'm watching you. Watching you guys. And now we might decide to be a bit more aggressive and banish that Spirit Reaper, because JustRawkin just lost 2 more resources. And now Bohne is trying to press a bit more. And now we want to see what that face monster is, and it is a second Spirit Reaper.
Yeah, I mean, one was a big elephant in the room. The second one is opening a zoo here. How do we out 2 Spirit Reapers? We have 1 out in form of DD Warrior Lady.
I mean, DD Warrior Lady is limited in gold format, so you can't just summon a second one. There are definitely some possibilities, but JustRawkin is sitting really pretty here. Obviously, Thousand Eyes would be another option to pick apart the Spirit Reapers. You could attack with DD Warrior Lady, like you could banish with 1 now and then activate Metamorphosis in main phase 2. But do you want to use that many resources? We do see Snatch Steal, that's also a possible out. Getting rid of at least one of these 2 pesky Spirit Reapers.
Yeah, and reading between the lines of Snatch Steal, it definitely says destroy 1 Spirit Reaper on your opponent's side of the field.
Yeah, it does.
And it's a very specific card to play in your gold deck, but it really pays off in this situation.
If you face a Spirit Reaper. And now JustRawkin tries to double into the Magician, which is likely to play around to potential Tsukuyomi, which Bohne can draw into. But now he runs into a potential Mirror Force or Sakuretsu Armor. So it's quite a risk he is willing to take here. But I think it's a reasonable decision to try to put that Magician into the grave.
And it telegraphs a potential...
that was a ring, I believe. Yeah, that is indeed a ring of all rings. I mean, you know the lines better than I do, probably.
Yeah, I mean, there's a potential Chaos Monster in hand that would be protected by crashing into the Magician of Faith to dodge another... Oh, never mind then. It's just another flip.
Will this be the 3rd Spirit Reaper? This would be quite a card. It could also be a Graphic Reaper Spy, which would do basically the same in that situation, because it would put 2 monsters on the field, which Bohne can't out at the moment. DD Warrior can only take care of 1. We do see a Magician being switched into defense, and it is indeed that Gravekeeper Spy. I had a meeting with Captain Future a few seconds ago.
Yeah, and now getting the second Spy, also putting a little bit more life point pressure out. Like, this game isn't over just because it's not looking so good.
And
for JustRawkin's side, doesn't mean he's out of it, but the there are a lot of cards in hand.
And I mean, the Void Lady has to suffer from brain damage after this match. It keeps slamming into monsters and keeps having to think about whether it wants to sacrifice itself. But its will to live is stronger. So we see the Void Lady sticking around for one more turn and JustRawkin once again, sitting on 2 monsters which Bohne can't out. And you see that timer slowly ticking down. I believe if we are going into 3 games, there is no avoidance of time.
Yeah, and if you play out this game,
Yeah.
you
Oh, that's a Tsukuyomi, which JustRawkin wanted to avoid. He could have tried to attack over the Magician with a spy, but he elected to against it and now gets punished for that. You now can take Snatch back.
Yeah, but do you know what Snatch Steal doesn't offer you?
Doesn't offer you an out to 2 spies in defense?
Yes, because the specific line on Snatch Steal is that you destroy Spirit Reaper.
Very surprising that Bohne doesn't elect to flip his Magician. No, he's sitting there just waiting to get outed. And if JustRawkin side-decked into Mind Control and finds one, this would be devastating. Like, I don't know why you won't flip Magician here.
We got our light monster. Now JustRawkin has 1 light and 3 darks engraved.
Yeah, that's correct.
And on the other hand, there's a pretty empty graveyard because if you don't play your cards, they don't go into the graveyard. And there are no monsters, and I don't know if the spells are that great either. I mean, having 2 Thunder Dragons in grave is in hand is always protecting your other cards from potential discards.
Yeah.
So we can protect our cards we can't play at the moment. Investing cards into 2 back row is kinda heavy, and just pushing with a spy into the Magician of Faith might be a play to just break the Tsukolok.
Yeah. What is very interesting here, so it doesn't seem that this game will end very soon. And right now, JustRawkin does have the life points advantage here. And maybe time is ticking slowly in his favor. We see that Dust Tornado being flipped. He wants to snipe something. I mean, this would be the perfect time to hit Scapegoats. And also, I think it might be telegraphing a potential Chaos play here. You mentioned he just added a light to his grave.
Yeah, and also getting rid of battle traps or other disruption offers a potential push with your spy to get rid of them off.
Indeed, it was Scapegoats. It obviously can't be chained because Bohne is sitting on 2 monsters on board. And now JustRawkin has to try to... Oh, we do see triple set of Thunder Dragon here. Why do we do that? Because we have Metamorphosis into Dark Balta. That's an out against Warrior Lady and Magician of Faith. What a play, what a find by JustRawkin.
Yeah. I mean, Chaos Control gives you all the tools you need.
Yeah, definitely.
And you just have to use your tools to the best advantage to win your games. And we see a masterclass of Chaos here.
If Bohne doesn't have a spell card, and now it... Oh, that's wow. If Bohne's trap card isn't live, then JustRawkin is in an amazing position. But we have to remember, Bohne does still have Tsukuyomi in hand, so there is a way to out-Dark Balta and to also activate your spell cards. But damn, this Balta looking fire here. Really, really well played by JustRawkin.
Yeah, and there is like half the deck in hand. So it's not just the Tsukuyomi. There are a lot of other cards we don't even know about.
Yeah.
We are just playing around the known cards, and that's the trouble. But there are also cards that we don't know about.
Yes.
And these could be potential threats that just weren't necessary to play yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's still looking really good for Bohne because he has the out against Balta, and Balta got us hyped and excited for a moment. But I think his patience is starting to pay off because he has so much card advantage here. And we do see that Tsukuyomi. Do we have an out? No, we don't. This is not looking good. Now the Void Lady can just attack over it. I believe Balta has less than 2,500 defense.
It seems like it. And there is the attack of
on
the
Mirror Force from JustRawkin.
And the Mirror Force is the problem solver.
Definitely. No, you can flip back up Balta again. We now have full information about JustRawkin's hand because his last remaining card in hand is that third Thunder Dragon. But what do you do now if you are Bohne? Like, this Balta is putting you into so much pressure. And the Didi Warrior Lady sticking around for so long only to get mirror forced.
Yeah, I mean, the Didi Warrior Lady did its job. It stalled out a lot of turns. It was a constant pressure. And the Didi Warrior Lady got met with the mirror force.
Yeah.
But losing the Tsukuyomi as a consolation prize was...
Yeah. We didn't saw a new back row, and we knew now why, because there was a torrential tribute sitting there. That was a really good answer, but did JustRawkin just find the chaos? He has one card in hand we don't know about. He checked his grave, but he didn't follow it up, and yeah. That torrential tribute was also, he was very patient with it. He could have activated it on the first summon of Balta, but he knew he could just held onto it. And now JustRawkin is passing, and now the very first window to apply pressure is opening up for Bohne.
Yeah, we still have not that many targets in grave, but we got our light and our dark.
Yes.
And there's still all the cards in the hand, but we just opt to keep it slow.
Yeah, we do have a T-set here, which might give JustRawkin the opportunity to kind of climb back here, but oh, we do see a Nobleman. This does certainly help and gets rid of the MJ again, once again. But I think that MJ probably would have helped JustRawkin, right?
I mean, if you use your Raigeki break at this point.
Discard Demog. Does he have a Prem?
And there's a Prem.
He does have the Pre-Major, and I think now it's looking very, very dire for JustRawkin.
Yeah, there all the stars aligned and everything is coming together, but the options in the graveyard are still not that great.
I mean, you can take Snatch for later. You can also take Duo to get rid of everything of JustRawkin. He has Thunder Dragon plus 1 card in hand. So you may just do that, leaving JustRawkin on top deck mode. You can take golds. I think there are plenty of options you can take there.
Yeah, of course, but if you compare the graveyards, I mean, there is like not that much you can do because you haven't drawn that many cards, but also you haven't played that many cards.
Yeah.
And the Snatch Steal answers a potential Blackluster Soldier that would be also a good out to
okay,
the
so what did we add here? I think I missed it. It's looking like, did he add goats there?
He added the Snatch.
He added Snatch, yeah, that's the smart play because it's hard to find a loose option now, and JustRawkin also now starting to drop lower and lower. Snatch from JustRawkin, but if he can't find a game shot, there would be, and we do see the attack. If he can't find a game shot here, it's not looking good because Bohne can just snatch it right back if he wants to. But it would, a successful attack would put Bohne into ring range, which is something you need to consider here.
Yeah, but we also know one of the cards in hand.
Okay. Oh, and there's that Mirror Force. I mean, basically Snatchy was a destroy Mirror Force and destroy Demog here, which is definitely a decent card.
Definitely.
Also, JustRawkin did leave nothing on field here for that Snatch Steal from Bohne. But he finds a breaker. This is going to play some pressure, and now JustRawkin has to respond to this. He's only on 3k life point. I think we are heading straight to a game 3 here. Only one life card in Rawkin's hand.
And we have 6 minutes left on clock, so we just need to find an out to the 1900 beat stick and apply a little bit of pressure. But we are still sitting on the Thunder Dragon.
Oh, you top deck the Delinquent Duo, but now he is on 2000 life points. So Bohne needs to find any monster here and it's over. Can he find the game shot? Yes, he can with an Abyss Soldier. We haven't seen this card before.
No, that's a new one. But not an uncommon one. It was quite popular.
It also gives JustRawkin some more information about the decks that Bohne is playing, because if you play Abyss Soldier, you are more likely to main deck also Mystic Tomato, because Mystic Tomato gets you to Sangan, Sangan gets you to Serpent. And there we are.
We haven't seen any recruiters yet.
No, but as I'm saying, like, if you're main decking Abyss Soldier, you're more likely to play Tomato. So maybe JustRawkin has this in mind. And we talked about how well JustRawkin played game 1, but we have to give credit to Bohne here, who played a very patient, very, very good game 2 here. played nearly everything perfect, and it was again a true showcase of how to play a control mirror.
Yeah, we just wait until we draw the cards to win the game. That's control, and you have to spot the cards that win you the game, and you have to play the cards at the right time, because a lot of the cards in Bohne's hand were just sitting there forever.
Yeah.
And he just waited until he needed to play them, and then used them with great effectiveness.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. So now, if you're JustRawkin, if you're Bohne, you have to look at the clock right next to you. Do we see some timeout card get sided? And I believe it would be a strong possibility. And I believe if I will be in the shoes of these two players, I would side deck in Mystic Vogue.
Yeah, definitely. You have to bring Mystic Vogue against the burn strategy anyway. So why don't just play it for timeout? It's very good. I mean, it's not that good with the timeout rules we are playing with. If you are an advanced player, Mystic Vogue is criminally good. But even if you force a stalemate position, which control decks really can do, activating one Mystic Vogue on a Chaos Sorcerer can just win you the game in the third timeout round.
Yeah, let's just break down the timeout rules we are playing here today for people who are just tuned in or maybe are not familiar with it, because we are most likely heading to one. If timeout is called in Gold format, then we play 3 extra turns plus the turn in which timeout is called, which means exactly that that the turn timeout is called, it's turn 0, and then you have 1, 2, 3 turns after that. Both players compare the life points. Whoever has more life points at that state wins this game. If both players are on the exact same amount of life points, we go into sudden death. And what is happening in sudden death, Simon?
In sudden death, Mystic Vogue becomes a really good game-winning.
Yeah, but what are the rules of sudden death?
If you are in sudden death and there is a life point discrepancy, is it stopped by phase or is it stopped by turn? It's phase, right?
No, it's the first change of life points decides the match.
Decided.
The very first change of life points will end the match. Yeah.
After resolve of the chain. Okay.
Yeah. I get a head nod from our head judge here, so we know we are correct. Genau. Yeah, the chain has to fully resolve, but after a complete chain, like every change will be noted there. And I do see some Kuriboh. Bohne definitely siding in at least one Kuriboh here. This are the timeout cards we were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't deal damage, but it keeps you in the game.
Yeah,
and
it prevents.
If every attack can be an OTK, it's very successful. But we are not in timeout yet.
Yeah, but also, but we will be very soon. And also playing Kuriboh can lure your opponent to false security, because your opponent may think one attack with a weak monster is enough to win in sudden death, and then you Kuriboh him and attack with your stronger monster over it, and then that's just it. So Kuriboh, a very, very smart side deck choice here by Bohne. Let's see if it will come up, if we will see a Kuriboh making a grand entrance here, or if JustRawkin will be able to, maybe bring in some side deck spice of his own. He will be able to start. What do you want to see here if you're JustRawkin?
I mean, if you are JustRawkin, you just want to see your maybe you want to see Pot and Grace, not quite Duo.
Duo could be dangerous here.
Duo could be dangerous, but Pot and Grace are cards you definitely want to see. You want to see a potential Raigeki break to answer cards from your opponent.
We don't see a monster played by JustRawkin, so he makes himself vulnerable, but we do see Shoot, and that's a very good hand for Bohne here. What do we see, Simon?
We have the mentioned Raigeki break, we have 2 Metamorphoses, we have DD Warrior Lady, the Abyss Soldier, and a Graceful Charity, which are 3 fresh cards and a discard of everything you don't need. And seeing all the cards you need and discarding the cards you don't need, especially so close to timeout, is a really important card.
Yeah, and we do see the Abyss Soldier getting shuffled back, and if JustRawkin doesn't have Gold set, it's looking very, very dire for him, because then he most likely will eat up some damage here, which he really can't afford to take, because we will still have the Grace to resolve, so I'm pretty sure we will go to time in this very turn.
Yes, I mean,
Yes, there's
activating Grace, drawing 3, and discarding the worst cards for a potential timeout is now the play.
That's definitely the play. And yeah, also Bohne has now 3 more cards to find some cards he specifically bought in for timeouts. It's a huge advantage he can have here. And yeah, we have 25 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, and a lot of people are tempted to play faster with a clock that's running down.
Yeah.
But that are the moments where you make more mistakes. So taking your time is really important there.
Okay. We are in timeout now while we see a Sanger being summoned. Will JustRawkin take the damage? We are now in timeout. Judge is just heading to the table, informing the players about a timeout procedure for sure. And JustRawkin is taking the damage. So now he only has 3 more turns, like only 2 more of his own turns to make up for the difference here.
Yeah, but he gets 2 turns, right?
Yeah, he gets 2 battle phases.
He gets 2 battle phases to dish out 1100.
Yeah.
Oh, we are going for Wicked Dragon?
That's a very, very smart metamorphosis because it sends the attack position Sanger to grave and he can now summon a monster in defense position. So we will be the Dragoness Wicked Knight, most likely. A card you rarely see in your Gold Fusion decks, but now you see why it's important to have your... No, we see Flame Ghost. That's the dark, even better.
Yeah, Flame Ghost, and we get to search our mentioned...
And there is that Kuribo we were talking about earlier. No, JustRawkin has an even harder time to press for the deciding damage here. This would be really hype if Kuribo wins a feature match here in 2025.
And it's not only looking like it's winning a feature match in 2025, it's also the Flame Ghost in defense position, like dishing out the damage and walling up immediately.
Yeah.
It's really everything you could have wanted here.
And what we can see, but you don't, is JustRawkin smiling at the corner of the camera. He's like, yeah, I'm just losing against Kuribo. Typical day in the office of a Gold Format player.
Yeah, I mean, you could potentially...
Bohne is sitting in the tank here. He's not sure what he needs to do in this situation. Both players are very tense, obviously. We do see 2 set cards. JustRawkin has nothing in the end phase. This is the third to last turn of the match, turn 1 of time. It will all be over in turn 3.
Yes, and what would be the best cards? Like a Heavy Storm would be great if you can follow it up with some something to fuel your grave.
Yeah.
But we are playing very slow decks.
Oh, Tribe could be nice. Tribe could fuel your grave. Also can get rid of the Flame Ghost. And I mean, you can at least force out the Kuribo here. But Goats would really hurt. You can clear the main phase too, but it would soak up an attack and still preserve your Kuribo in hand. So it all comes down to what has Bohne available to him in his back row.
Yeah, but Tribe is putting out a little bit of pressure. We are still debating if we want to use the turn player prio.
I think the question is not if we want to, the question is what do we discard here? Because JustRawkin has to really think about what kind of resources he can waste, in which he desperately needs to maybe turn this thing around. And we do see a card in hand which is about to be discarded. That's the Dust Tornado.
So neither a light nor a dark monster.
Yes. And what type is Flame Ghost even? I don't even know. It's Pyro, right?
Might be Pyro.
And there's a Torrential being chained to that. Also very good card. If JustRawkin doesn't have a special summon here, it might be insurmountable for him. So only see a back row. And that's turn... No, we are not quite in turn 2 yet. We do see a third back row maybe added to that. Yes, we do. And we are in turn 2 of time. This is the last turn Bohne has in regular time procedure.
But he is up 1,000 life points. And... summoning any monster in the back row might be enough to seal the game because we have Kuribo in hand.
And I mean, we have to talk about Bohne's play here. If he is able to win this is solely because of that Flame Ghost, meta into Flame Ghost combination to get Kuribo. He sets the back row and play is now to JustRawkin. If he doesn't find the Mystic Vogue, he needs to deal battle damage through a Kuribo. And how can you do that?
I mean, you have to summon 2 monsters.
Yeah. Oh, we see Regeki break losing Snatch Steer off his hand. And he needs to top it. He gets rid of Sakuretsu armor. Will this top deck bring him the game? Oh, he's shaking his head. This might be it. Mystical Space Typhoon. Sniping the back row. What can we have to follow it up here?
Yeah, what monster is he going to play?
Yeah. So we do see Chain of Regeki break discarding something. It's a creature swap. Yeah, I believe this is just like delaying the inevitable. And that's it. Needle Stealing does nothing here. And Bohne with Kuribo in hand claims the victory in this grueling control mirror grind.
Yeah, and the matter for Kuribo was definitely a play, but not drawing any monsters in timeout is also difficult. It makes it difficult for you to deal any damage.
Yeah. Very cool feature match, but do you know what the best play now is?
The best play now would be an interview?
Yeah, and I'm going to ask if that's possible. Great segue, Simon. I'll leave you monologuing for a bit, and I will ask Bono if he's down for an interview.
Yeah, so after that intense control mirror, we have to ask ourselves what other cards that you can summon with Metamorphosis do you really want to see? Like we saw Flame Ghost today, we saw Last Warrior, we saw Dark Balter. What are other Metamorphosis cards that would be hype to have on stream? We have intel into a lot of the deck lists that are here for today. It's a lot of work, but one of the casting team always has a little bit more free time than the others, and so yeah, maybe we can make something work and find a control deck with cool cards in the extra deck.
Okay, so I have confirmation we will have Bohne in our interview in a little bit. So stay tuned, we will be on a break for like 2 minutes, and then we will be back with Bohne discussing this exciting match.
And it was an exciting match indeed. And we are back with our winners interview after round 3. I'm here with Bohne.
Moin. Hallo.
And yeah, you just won your round 3 feature match. What is it like playing here, the GGP Osnabrück? How does it feel?
Ja, also ich finde die Location auf jeden Fall schon mal ganz gut so, top. Und das ansonsten die Vorbereitung, also ja, okay, was will ich erzählen?
Ja,
nee, also die Location ist auf jeden Fall top so, das Turnier ist super organisiert bisher und meine Gegner waren auch eigentlich immer nett, so, das finde ich eigentlich auch wichtig, dass wenn man gegen Leute spielt, die auch irgendwie freundlich sind und alles respektvoll miteinander ist und ja, bin bisher ganz zufrieden, so was das Turnier angeht.
Okay, so you think the location is quite nice and the Orga team is doing a good job and all of his opponents were like very respectful and very nice, and that is a really important part of any tournament, that you have like respectful and nice opponents. And you had a pretty long round 3 just now. We went into the timeout and you had the incredible play to tribute your Sangan with your Metamorphosis to go into the Flame Ghost and search your Kuribo. Was that a play that you thought up ahead of time, or was it like a spontaneous thing?
Ja, also generell habe ich ein sehr langsames Deck. Ich bin jetzt auch schon das 2. Mal ins Timeout gekommen. Bis Runde 1 habe ich gegen so ein Chaos-Deck gespielt, aber sind wir auch ins Timeout gekommen. Nur Runde 2 gegen ein Krieger-Deck. Das war relativ schnell zu Ende. Und jetzt halt wieder so ein Control-Mirror. Das ist so ein bisschen auch darauf ausgelegt, auch das Side-Deck. Ich habe zum Beispiel Kuribo im Side, hat man ja gesehen. Und noch ein paar andere Karten, die ich jetzt noch nicht unbedingt so verraten will, weil das Turnier läuft ja auch noch. Aber mein komplettes Side-Deck ist eigentlich so fürs Time dann auch ausgelegt, dass ich dann halt solche Plays machen kann und dann mit den Scapegoats und stallen kann und mit Kuribo mich schützen kann und dann im Timeout versuche dann zu gewinnen, wenn es ins Timeout gehen sollte natürlich. Lieber ist es mir natürlich, wenn ich vorher gewinne, aber wenn es ins Timeout geht, dann, dass ich die Option habe, wenigstens nicht zu verlieren.
His deck is very slow, and it was the second time he got into timeout today. And the side deck plan with, for example, the Kuribo is to counter the fact that your deck is kind of slow and you only have the time limit. And so, it's the protection and the safety insurance for your slow deck to also win against the more aggressive decks in the timeout.
Ich würde noch zu dem Kuribo-Play ein bisschen was sagen, hatte ich jetzt vergessen. Genau, zu dem habe ich ja diesen Flame Ghost oder sowas da geholt. Man hätte natürlich auch jetzt zum Beispiel einfach den Sangan tributieren können und dann den 1-2er holen können, um dann noch mehr Schaden zu machen. Ich dachte mir aber, es wäre sicherer, dann in der Main-Phase 2 das Ding nochmal in Verteidigung zu beschwören, um mich halt auch ein bisschen vor Angriffen zu schützen, dass er halt zweimal angreifen muss, um mir halt dann Battle Damage zu machen. Und ich habe auch noch extra den Schwächeren geholt. Es gibt ja auch den mit 1200, ich weiß gar nicht, wie der heißt.
In Skeleton Warrior.
Ja, sowas.
Like
ich habe extra den Schwächeren geholt, weil ich mir dachte, falls er noch irgendwie einen Snatch hat oder vielleicht eine Metamorphose oder so, dass er mir halt ein bisschen weniger Damage drücken kann. Weil jetzt, vielleicht wird er den Kuribo irgendwie mit einer Kartenzerstörung los, macht er Metamorphose, holt den 1-2, macht mir 1-2 Damage und genau, deswegen habe ich extra den Schwächeren geholt, das muss man auch noch dazu sagen. Ne?
Okay, the genius idea behind the Flame Ghost was that
also Genius habe ich jetzt nicht gesagt.
That's my words. My words is that the Flame Ghost has less attacks than the Sangan damage that was dealt in the battle phase. So even if there's a Snatch Steal to maybe you don't have to use your Kuribo there and you're safe.
Yeah.
Like it's a triple safety. Like you have a monster in defense, you can only deal less damage, and you can keep your you can preserve your Kuribo there. So do you want to tell us something about you? How long are you playing Goat? Did you play it as back then, or did you start?
Früher eigentlich, also zu der Goat-Format-Zeit habe ich auf jeden Fall gespielt. Ein paar Karten, die ich im Deck habe, jetzt auch nicht in dem Deck, weil das ist ein OCG-Deck, aber in anderen Decks habe, sind auch tatsächlich noch von der Zeit, weil ich die halt irgendwie nie weggeschmissen habe oder nie verkauft habe. Und habe irgendwann aufgehört und dann bin ich irgendwann wieder reingekommen. Also ein Kumpel von mir hat dann gesagt, so, er hat jetzt auch wieder angefangen und lass doch mal ein bisschen zocken und so. Und jetzt spiele ich eigentlich so mit Freunden und ich bin eigentlich nicht so auf Turnieren oder so. Oder online spiele ich eigentlich auch nicht, aber wenn man mal mit einem Kumpel spielt oder so zu Hause, eine kleine Runde oder noch mit anderen Freunden so, dann bin ich eigentlich immer am Start.
Yeah. So he played back then. A few of his cards are still from when he played during the actual time of Goat format, and now he started a few years back again after a friend of his started again and was like, yeah, let's play some Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. And now they're meeting as a friend group and play a few games.
Viele Grüße an Akko auf jeden Fall. Bester Mann. Ist auf jeden Fall einer, der immer zum Goat motiviert und überall am Start ist.
Do you want to greet anyone else or?
Grüße noch an Metin, mit dem spiele ich auch gerne und viel. Der hat leider heute, war er verhindert zu kommen. So, und deswegen, falls er das hört, was ich nicht glaube, weil er keine Zeit hätte oder Zeit hat, sonst wäre er ja da. Auf jeden Fall Grüße an ihn noch.
Klar,
oder mein Bruder.
Then thank you very much and good luck for the future rounds.
Danke.
Looks good now and it will look even better in the future.
Okay, danke schön.
Hey, du hast es bis in die Endcard geschafft. Dankeschön, dass du dir mein Video bis zum Ende angeguckt hast. Und falls du den Kanal noch nicht abonniert hast, dann lass doch super gerne ein Abo da. Like das Video, wenn es dir gefallen hat. Lass einen Kommentar da. Ich versuche auf jeden Kommentar zu antworten. Und hier siehst du die Playlist, die zu diesem Video passt, sowie ein weiteres Video, was dir gefallen könnte.